All right, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. We're back with a different stream this time. This is another extra life milestone goal reward thing. We've done like 2 of those so far that I've finally gotten to. This one, we're playing Call of Cthulhu. Running a game for some friends here. You can see 2 of the friends to my left and right, and then the representations of 2 of them further beyond. So I will be the keeper tonight, which is what the game master for Call of Cthulhu is called. And then on my left, oh, my camera's flipped, but on my left, you'll see my friend Evan. We'll go over characters in a little bit, but that's Evan. Beyond him is going to be Hemal. That's his character.
What's up, guys?
To my right is Danny, aka Danny Chaos. And then beyond her is Alex.
Hello.
So we will be getting started here shortly. She's not streaming, Ed. It's just me streaming. You know, for those of you who haven't played Call of Cthulhu, it's quite different from like D&D. It's a D100 based system rather than D20s. You'll kind of see it as we go, but they all have stats, and I can open one of the character sheets just to show what they look like. But let's see if this shows up while on stream. Is it showing up? There it is. Okay. So you have all of your different abilities, accounting, anthropology, blah, 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 all the way down to here. The number to the right in bold is your score in that. The number in the first number in the parentheses is half of that value, and then the number after the slash is a fifth of that value. So when you roll the dice, you roll the D100, you want to meet or get below your score value. So anything that's 50 or lower on a D100 roll is a success. Doubles or triple zeros is 100, so that's a fumble, that's a critical fail, and then 1 is a critical. Actually, anything that is equal to or less than your 1/5 value is a critical success. So that's called an extreme success, and then the half value, anything that meets or beats that, is a hard success. So there's 3 levels of success here. Sometimes checks can be more difficult and they require a hard success. Sometimes if it requires a normal success and you get a hard success or better, you get something more from succeeding. And typically getting a critical success is going to be better regardless of what you actually needed. Why is it that did your cameras go away when I pulled up Fantasy Grounds on the computer or Foundry? I guess so.
I guess so.
I will try to refrain from doing that. It should be fine to just display whatever's on there now at this point. So they may go away once in a while, but
it teleported us to the Shadow Realm for a second.
Yeah, which is kind of appropriate for this game.
Hanging there with Yugi Moto.
I probably won't be addressing chat too much just because I'm going to be addressing the characters. So Ed, if I don't respond to you, also hello Ed. If I don't respond to you, it's, you know, that's why. You said Danny's a little quiet. I can turn her up on my end. Let's see if that is better.
Good old beginning of stream adjustments.
Especially the first time doing like this layout and stuff, it's even more so. So we're gonna get started here. I don't think there's anything else that we need to go over before. There's other mechanics of the game that we will get to when we get into the characters. I've gone over the rules with everybody before, but we created their characters like 2 weeks ago, so it will be a refresher. Only 2 of the players have actually played this system before, but that was also only 1 time, so you know, we'll see. So, and yeah, Ed, I will be reading your chats most likely, so if something goes wrong and you need to let me know, I will see what's going on. But yeah, we will get started here. We are playing a scenario called Blackwater Creek, and we will get into it. So we start coming in. We are in Boston, Massachusetts in the year 1926. We kind of zoom in to a warehouse district of the city. A couple of warehouses going down the line. One of them, you see there's doors open and a little bit of light shines out. Walking up the sidewalk towards this warehouse. You see a young 18-ish, late teens man. Would you be wearing your uniform?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Police officer's uniform, maybe just came off of a shift at work, but walks along this sidewalk or boardwalk. It's in warehouse is probably near like a port or a harbor of some sort. And as you approach, I would like, and you are, as a note, responding to a summons from your new boss of a couple months, Declan McBride.
Got it.
About an hour, maybe an hour and a half ago, coming to the end of your shift, maybe you had to leave your shift a little bit early, you got the summons to be here tonight at this dock. It kind of came out of nowhere. You've not actually really met the boss in person. At this point, you've kind of been handled by others of the crew, so this is your first time that he has reached out to you directly to speak with you. And you don't know many details. He has a job for you of some kind, and you've come to get the details. Would you like to describe what Peter looks like aside from the uniform?
Sure. Peter is incredibly tall, lanky man. Like your stereotypical, like very clumsy, long arms, doesn't realize how large he is, like hits people constantly just turning. Very, I would say, not the most educated person, but he makes up for it with his eyes. He's good at spotting things, and that's why he thought he was going to be good at becoming a cop.
Great. All right. And then as you're walking up the way to this warehouse, you see, maybe 50 or so feet ahead of you is this light pouring out of this open warehouse, which is where you were told to come to meet up with the boss. And I'm going to need you to make a listen check.
Oh God, okay.
So again, the way this works is on his sheet, there's a listen skill, and he'll click it and it will roll dice. You should be able to see the dice and the results on the stream.
Yep, that's not good.
It didn't update. Hold on. There we go.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
I didn't hear a
For the
thing.
first
Okay.
check.
Wow. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
and that's
Am I
actually.
supposed to be doing the voice by now?
No, we haven't spoken in character yet, so that's fine. Oh, it's
Okay.
not. Damn, if Fantasy Grounds isn't in the foreground, it doesn't update. No, that should be. Nope. Shoot. Hold on.
It worked,
Yeah,
but
but
now the picture.
all right. So to recap, because I just had to settle a bunch of tech issues. Also, I can't see the chat anymore. Or not the chat, but the boundary rolling. Okay. So Peter just rolled a listen check as he was walking up, and honestly, it's probably better for you that you didn't pass this one, but he did roll a 99, which is a fail. I know I mentioned that 100 is a critical failure. There is a caveat to that. The caveat is if your skill is less than 50, 95 to 100 is a critical fail. So since your listen is only a 20, a 99 is a critical fail.
Okay.
In this case, nothing really bad, nothing like negative happens to you. You just don't hear what happens. You just don't hear
You're humming
what
a
you were
little
gonna hear.
tune to yourself. You're zoned out.
Yeah. I think you're so concentrating on like, oh God, the boss wants me for something. Like, what did I do? Did something go wrong? Did I mess up?
Mama said not to be nervous.
Mama says a lot of things about Jesus in this.
So
It is the 1920s, so.
it's true. So yeah,
is true.
as you walk up, just kind of thinking in your own head, whether it is nervousness or excitement about going to see the boss. You've arrived early. You're like a little bit before he even told you to come here, so you're catching up and trying to put up a good impression here. Just skip the part about what you heard. So you continue the extra 50 to 100 feet into the warehouse, into these open doors, and you make your way in. First time at this particular location, like I said, you haven't really met with the boss in person before. You've seen him right when you joined, just so you knew his face. But other than that, that's actually, you probably wouldn't have met him. They probably didn't want you to see his face until you were kind of in for a little bit.
That was smart of them.
Not that you would have remembered it as Peter, but you know.
I don't know that yet.
And you walk in. There is a truck and a car parked by the entrance here. Truck is loaded down with some crates in the back. There's a couple of other people kind of just in different parts of the warehouse doing whatever it is they're doing. But you continue into the back where you were told to meet up, and there is an office door that is currently shut. And you were told to wait until you were admitted. So you kind of wait by the door.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to do in this time that you're waiting?
No, but I'm probably waiting like directly outside the door, like right outside of it.
Sure. And you do hear some talking and some low voices from inside the door here. According to your listen skill, you're not hearing much specific. But
I was gonna ask if I could try listening again, maybe.
I mean, yeah, it's a different listen check. So if you want to try to eavesdrop a little bit, you can absolutely try.
I'm gonna try to. All right.
Okay, 45. So you heard the voices and kind of waited a second to see whether or not you should listen or not. You kind of debated it and then decided that you wanted to hear what was going on. And you lean in to listen. And as you lean in, the handle on the door starts to shake. And the door slowly opens up. And out walks two other gang members, carrying what can only be a body wrapped in in sacks, like potato sacks, essentially.
Okay.
And as they walk past carrying this form, there's a couple of just drops of blood soaking out of the one end and dripping onto the floor behind them as they walk. The door was shut behind them, and you have not been called to be admitted yet, so you're just kind of standing there waiting at this point. At that, we'll cut back outside as the next two of our guests arrive. Not too early, but not making the boss wait, because you know that that's a bad idea, but you've both been around long enough to kind of know the general timing for these things. As Joseph and Stan both approach. Joseph, would you like to go first and explain who you are and what you look like?
Yeah, so Joseph is a journalist who is like decently well known in Boston. Like he's been a journalist for 20 years. He knows what he's doing. He's made a name for himself. And he's like average height, around 5'8", 5'9". He's not a tall man, but he's not like noticeably short. And he looks like someone who you can tell used to be like very attractive, but he's hitting middle age. He's lost some of his looks, but he's still kind of got that salt and pepper look. And he was a well-respected investigative journalist for years, but you know, his wife, he loves her so much, and she got pregnant with twins. He had to buy a new house, and the bills piled up, and next thing you know, he got a little in over his head. And he started working for Declan, writing puff pieces, hiding the facts, trying to confuse the authorities, and just... he's continuously getting deeper and deeper into this hole he dug himself a couple of years ago, and he's not quite sure how to get out, so he doesn't want to be here, but... the money, man. He's got 3 kids, he's got a wife to keep, like... he's got to pay them bills, so... he's kind of begrudgingly here, clearly exhausted from the hours. And
that mob money, though, getcha.
That mob money, it's so enticing.
All right, very nice. And then around the same time, you guys probably, clock each other coming up around the same time as Stan. Mr. Dursley, would you like to explain yourself?
Hi, I'm Stan Dursley. I'm about 5'10", 190 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, pretty normal looking guy. I was tired of my old boss, so I found a new one, and he pays me way better. And I've been with Mr. Declan for about 6 or 7 years now.
Again, it's about the money.
Accounting's accounting, man.
Yeah, numbers are numbers.
As long as you don't care where those numbers came from.
I care about the numbers in my wallet.
It's true. Same as the man that you see approaching you at this moment, Joseph, who You two know each other because, like you said, Stan's been with the company for 7 or 8 years, or 6 or 7 years, and Joseph has been with for 2.5 years at this point. So you run the books, you know how much everybody's making and all that kind of stuff. So you know of Joseph. Whether or not you guys have worked together at this point is kind of up to you. I know the accountant probably doesn't get in on too many direct encounters.
No, not too many, but enough because I have to meet a lot of the people, a lot of the clients.
I feel like we know each other's face, even if we haven't actually spoken too much.
Sure. And
Seen
yeah,
around.
I mean, and again, Joseph, Stan is probably the one that gives you your pay cut. So
Yeah, he cut some checks.
so you have a pretty good familiarity with everybody, Stan, even the newer guys. Which will
I'm the money man.
You are the money man. And as we've pointed out many times, that's what gets everybody in here. So as the two of you approach this warehouse, again, door still open, a little bit of light filtering out onto the harbor, and you enter in. This place has been used by the crew for a little while. You kind of jump around once in a while at the new places just to keep things fresh. But as you walk in here, you see one of the crew cars in off to the side. Currently, 2 of Declan's other men are loading something into the trunk, with a faint trail of blood leading to the car where they're at. But off to the other side, you actually see an unfamiliar vehicle, a truck loaded up with crates. And one of the lids of one of the crates is kind of already pried open. But this isn't one of Declan's typical vehicles, so it's not something you know about. I mean, Stan, you don't remember paying for this, so it's an unusual thing to see in here. If either of you would like to look in this crate that's pried open, you can. If you're not interested, that's fine too. Just let me know.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay. You can, either of you or both of you can make a spot hidden roll if you want to kind of sneak a peek as you walk by. There's nobody directly near the truck right now.
Do I see them doing this?
You probably see them walk in, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
I'd want to know what we're doing.
Sure.
What I'm paying for. Just gotta add any additional expenses.
Yeah, so you walk in and you walk up to the truck and kind of look in over the side, and you see the crate itself is loaded up with bottles of what appears to be whiskey.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't go any further than that. I'd be like, yeah, okay, standard stuff.
Likely some sort of homebrew whiskey. It is prohibition, so it is a big trade right now, is bootlegging. And yeah, so that's what you see, is just some whiskey bottles. And then you both head back to the back where the boss's office is, and you see the tall, lanky form of Peter Kane, the newbie in his police uniform.
I'm sorry about this. I want to apologize before I do this. Who are you old guys?
I feel like Joseph bristles a little bit, not just at the comment but because he sees a cop for a second, and he's so paranoid about being involved in crime. He's like, oh, a cop, and then he realizes he's here, and he's like, okay, never mind, it's our cop.
Yeah,
and then he calls him that, and so now he's just offended on top.
And you'll notice that, and I don't know if the two that just walked in with us, but Peter, you have been sort of getting a little bit of a side eye from some of the other crew that are in the warehouse right now. Likely
I'll
for you
walk up to him.
I wouldn't have noticed that, but I will be like, I saw you guys check out those crates, and it's actually illegal to look at other people's mail, so I wouldn't do that next time.
I hear the snot bubble in my mind.
I feel like Joseph just kind of puts his hand to his temple and starts massaging it. He's like, I already don't want to be here. I want to go home.
I'll reach out to shake Peter's hand, be like, hi Peter, of course you remember me and Stan.
Oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
That's the guy that pays
Everybody
you.
remembers the guy with the checks.
Oh yeah, you're making Jesus happy. That's what Bob's saying.
Somebody has to, right? All right. I assume you got the call to be here personally. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I rushed all the way here.
On the summons, was it to meet inside the warehouse with him?
It said to meet. He would call you into his office.
Okay.
And at that, good timing. After you guys kind of have your discussion here, a couple, like 30 seconds to a minute passes, and then you hear the boss's voice. All right, boys, come in. We got some stuff to discuss here. And you walk in to see your boss, Declan McBride. He is currently, well, let's see. You walk into the office, and let me see if I can get a description here. Yes, it's at the back of the warehouse. It's a plain room, concrete floor. There's a single bare light bulb hanging from the ceiling, kind of slightly swinging, like you see in like an interrogation scene.
Nice.
There's a wooden desk pushed against one of the side walls with a chair in the center of the room. So the desk on the wall, chair in the center of the room. Some cut lengths of rope are lying on the floor around the chair, and there's blood splattered on the chair and the floor. On the desk on the side is a bowl of bloody water, and McBride is sitting on the edge of the desk as you guys enter. He's bandaging one of his hands. Got a bit of just some like ace bandage that he's kind of wrapping around his arms. And I can share a picture of him with everybody. You all already know what he looks like because he's your boss, but let's change on. Actually, let's do this. This way is probably better. Not actors, journal, Blackwater Creek, NPCs, Declan McBride. Oh, I did already share with y'all. That's good. Show players. Nope, that's not the right thing. Why is it showing all that? Oh, right, because this guy is has GM privileges. Declan McBride.
Spoilers.
That's all right. Without context, it doesn't really do too much.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
So Declan McBride, this picture is him washing his hands in that bowl. But yeah, he has a cloth next to his hands, got some blood on it. Looks like he used it to dry off his hands, and he's currently wiped them off, and he's currently bandaging up his hand, like I said. As you guys look in and are kind of taking the situation, he looks at all of you, looks at the chair. Took a little while to get the boy talking. Anyway, that's it was worth the wait, and that's not what y'all are here for. You're here for a little job that I've got set up for you right now, based on what I was hoping we would get out of this that fine gentleman that my boys just carried out of the office. You all are familiar with one of our competitors, Mr. Whalen, correct?
Yes, correct, sir.
Yes, I'd say Stan and Joseph, you know of Whalen. Peter, you probably have not heard that name before.
Yeah, I'm just looking at both of them, hoping they answer.
Just nodding like, yes, I know what you mean. Well, that was one of his men that was just in here. We had a nice conversation, as you do, and he gave me some nice information that I need to follow up on. Like I said, the boys pulled him in earlier today, a little bit before I sent you all that summons. I was hoping to get some of this information out of him, and we were successful. So, well, let's start here. Whalen has been cutting in on our business. Stan, I'm sure you've noticed the sales of our fine, not fully legal substance has been cut into a bit as of late, have you not?
Yes, sir.
Well, turns out that was Whalen's doing a bit, from what I've learned. He's got a new operation set up in a little place called Blackwater Creek. Got a couple boys under his employ, the Carmody brothers, who are running a bit of a distillery up on their old family farm. And I forget which one of you it was. I think it was one of you knows the Carmodys.
Me, but I'm not there.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then yeah, so that doesn't ring a bell for anybody then. I mean, I guess Stan, you might know who the Carmodys are because they've worked under Waylon for a little while.
I've at least heard them.
Yeah, you've heard of the name. You probably don't know anything specific about them.
Yeah.
But the this little operation there is, like I said, Blackwater Creek. It's a small town, a little bit east. It's to the west of here, but a little bit east of Dunwich. So I'm gonna need the. He looked, and you see him for a second look a little bit annoyed. The four of you, he says in a bit of a annoyed tone, to take care of some business here for me. And as he says that, we cut back outside the warehouse for a second, and you see an older gentleman kind of just ambling along towards the warehouse. Seamus, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Seamus McBride, a 72-year-old cattle farmer and smuggler from good old Newfoundland. I'm wrinkled and withered by age, an age of shepherding, clearly attempting to defy the ravages of time with a well-placed longshoreman cap and a pristine set of dentures. I'm a big believer in the Lord Jesus, and I'm a former Irish volunteer. Declan is my distantly related shitbag nephew. But he's called me back into business. I'm retired, but he runs out of people because he kills them. So now I'm here.
Somebody who's
trying to get here. I'm actually I'm like kind of doddering along the road, muttering to myself how much an asshole Declan is for driving here and leaving me at home. I live in Declan's attic.
Somebody who's not here for the money though. He's here for good old family ties. Probably a little bit for the money.
Joy of the job.
And free lodging.
It's very true, yes.
But yeah, so Seamus kind of ambles along. And let's see. Yeah, and this warehouse you've been to, and some of the others might know, not know, like I said, the warehouse switches once in a while, but this one has come back to a couple times, so you've been here on occasion. But yeah, your nephew requested your presence a little while ago, and like you said, he came here earlier today without you, didn't bring you, and then knowing your mobility, asked you to be here quickly, and you're getting there as quickly as you can. Or maybe not. Maybe you probably.
Oh no, I definitely took my time.
Yeah, you could have gone here a little bit quicker, but you wanted to prove a point to him. And as you're walking up, you're probably like 200 feet from the entrance to the warehouse, and a car pulls out of the warehouse and drives past you. And you see, as it drives by, you catch, two of the crew boys in the car driving by.
Big jig bra, boys.
Windows are up, they don't hear you, but you're satisfied yelling at them as they drive by. And you arrive at the building, pass in to the warehouse, and you see a few of the other crew that are inside unloading these crates that were on the back of the truck. Make an appraise roll. Looking at this truck.
I'm good at this.
Because again, this is a truck that's not familiar as being one of your nephews. All right, 61 success. Okay, so yeah, I mean, nothing super special about it. It's a bit newer. It seems to be, set up to drive in more rugged areas. And you recognize it as being the type of vehicle that Waylon tends to purchase and use. I need to see, I forget if Waylon's first name's here.
How does it compare to my shitty broke down Model T?
Well, it turns on.
Okay.
That is an improvement.
It's got a bed for lugging stuff. So pretty good. You can smuggle real good with this thing. Michael Whalen is his full name. I realized that I didn't have his first name noted down. But yeah, so you pass by the crew unloading these crates of you hear some jangle of glass as you walk by, but you don't really get a good look at what's actually in the box. And you head back to the office where you hear Declan speaking and explaining to some folks. You pass in and you see the other three characters.
Jeez, boy, you're right crooked today, aren't you?
Oh, an even older guy.
Thank you, Uncle, for finally gracing us with your presence. You've missed the first half of my briefing here. Hopefully the other boys will catch you up on this.
Seeing Peter, freaking giant. Lord Jesus! Who hit you?
Giant and in a cop uniform.
Oh, I like him. He loves a little word too.
Mozzie on the rules, boy, but I'm told to play in the crooked team, you gotta be right crooked.
I'm loving this. This is good.
I feel like Joseph is just like kind of watching all this go down with like just mild interest, but also so much like confusion. He's like, I can't even begin to figure out why the four of us were selected for this.
Well, that's a good time for us to cut to the rest of his explanation. Well, thank you now that you've arrived. Like I said, hopefully the rest of your crew will be able to, or soon to be crew, can catch you up on some of the earlier details. But, and he walks over to the other side of the desk and opens a drawer and pulls out a bottle, a stand similar to what you saw in the crate. I need you to head over to Blackwater Creek, and he sets a bottle of, actually he'll hand it to, well, he reaches out towards Peter and then shifts and hands it to Stan first. A bottle of corn whiskey. I'm hoping to undercut our friend Waylon a little bit and maybe get in on this business that he seems to be doing so well on. Hopefully, the Carmody brothers are a bit willing to negotiate. I know that Damien can be a little bit hard to work with when it comes to his allegiances, but I have a nice offer for them that I would like you to make to take over this operation. And he says, I will to bring with you a starting fee of $10,000 cash to get their attention. And then from then on, I'm willing to match what they are currently making from Wayland in order to take over their operation.
Okay.
And Stan, I'm sure you can handle, where we keep the funds. You can get that all put together for me.
Already planning it, sir.
And as for the rest of you, there are reasons that I brought you all together. Some fresher faces, some older. Obviously, Uncle, you have quite a reputation for your smuggling, and these Carmody brothers are good in the business, and I'm sure know of you and could use a little bit of guidance on their... Yes, a little bit of guidance to kind of improve their game once we get them over onto our side. Maybe a little bit of, just mentoring while you're up there, if you please. And if you don't, still getting the job done for the family is always nice. And he gives you a winning smile. Stan, obviously...
Let's get on to go.
Yes, well, Stan, obviously dealing with the money. There's quite a bit of cash to be settled. Bring your books with you and figure out what they're currently making. Don't let them run you around on what they're making from Wayland. Figure out the numbers and we'll get that settled. Joseph, there's we need some information on what they're doing and how they are making this happen. They've taken our industry by storm in the past few months. They've taken away a lot of our business, and normally we shared a bit of business here and there. They had theirs and we had ours, but some of ours are leaving. And I want to know why. And can't just be that theirs is better, because I know for a fact that ours is the best. And you and your reporter brain are very good for that sort of thing. So please, Joey, if you would.
Joseph just like lets out a big sigh that he's like, ugh. Like he doesn't say anything because he's learned to just accept Declan. He's like, nothing I say will change this man. He just sighs. But he's figured out a little bit why they're all here now. He's like, okay, we've got someone who knows the business. We've got someone who knows the money. I'm here to figure out the details. And then we needed muscle. And he kind of glances at Peter, the big, large man. He's like, and there's the muscle.
Exactly. Nice to have a little bit of strength on the team. Not to mention, and I would recommend not wearing that around the brothers. They might get a little bit antsy, Peter. But the townsfolk might react favorably to a man of your position.
I can do that, sir. Hey, can I at least keep the hat on?
Take the badge off of it, at least.
Okay.
The right frosty
alright,
group will come from a ways there, boy.
I'll make sure he doesn't give up our cover, don't worry.
Thank you. I was hoping the three of you would at least be able to tell him what was acceptable and what was not. I know he's new to the crew, but it seemed like a good, we have some muscle around here, but nobody that I'm really willing to part with for longer than necessary.
Thank you, sir.
He thinks every insult's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And to tell you the truth, I'm not, and as I said, I need to know what they find so enticing about that brew of theirs, because to me it tastes a bit funny. So I don't know who's buying and why, but I would like to know. And he gave the bottle to Stan, so it's uncorked currently. But he kind of waits to see if you guys have any questions for him.
I feel like Joseph wants to like investigate this brewski. He grabs. Can he like reach for the bottle and like see if Stan will hand it over?
I see you start to motion towards me, and I'll just hand it to you.
Perfect. He takes a sniff of it, and I guess I feel like I want to roll something, because he would not drink it if it's like was very strange upon first investigation.
Yeah, you can do a roll.
I'm
Let's
not sure what I'd
do. Roll. Oh, also, why is Stan's picture down there? Don't be moving, Stan.
Oh yeah, he like ran away. I noticed that earlier. I was
enjoying moving.
I just have him there for the stream's reference, although they're actually not centered anymore. Plus, you guys are all in the bar, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it was useful when we didn't have our images before, but
yeah, you know what? Feel free to move around it as you wish. Let's see. What's a good skill for this?
He's like smelling it, and he's like swishing it around to kind of like get a gauge for it. He also just kind of wants to have a drink because he's stressed and he doesn't want to be here.
Sure.
So it's like a doofer where he's like kind of getting some free booze while pretending it's because he's doing his job.
Well, I mean, I would say it's probably an appraise roll, which I see that you're great at.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh no, I assumed I actually was, and then I looked at it. Oh dear. Yeah, I feel like that's correct. Let's find out.
18, close.
No.
So I mean, you don't need to do it at this point, but just as a reminder, there is a mechanic in this game called luck.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has a set luck score that they rolled with character creation. Danny rolled an 18 on the check, and it's a 5 to succeed. So you can either A, push the roll, which means you roll again, and if it's a failure, you there's some consequences, which you don't normally do unless you have a high score and think that you can pass, or it's a really important roll. Or you can spend luck points. So if she spent 13 luck, it would bring that roll from an 18 down to a 5 and would be a success.
Luckily, Joseph does not give that much of a shit about this, so
All right.
he's gonna decide this is good enough booze and take a swig.
Okay. I will say one thing that you notice here is the bottle is corn whiskey that they got from this farm in Blackwater Creek that the boss told you about. It is labeled as Irish whiskey. So it has definitely been rebottled and erroneously labeled.
Good for martinis there, son.
Sure.
Some notes about that.
Yeah, whatever you say, Seamus.
Yeah, good old Joe's gonna take just a small sip first.
Sure. And as you open the bottle and kind of like you said, swish it around and look at it, it does have a bit of like a rotten fruit smell a little bit off the top, but I mean, this is the 20s. People are making their own moonshine and stuff like that. It's not all up to code. So it's not the worst thing you've ever, right, exactly. It's not, there's a toilet wine and, you know, all that stuff. So there's not much consistency where you would be like, this is off.
Got your tongue depressor to scrape off the scum on the top.
yeah.
Yes. No, actually, it is pretty clear. The bottling, it at least looks like a fairly clean alcohol. Yeah, there's some sediment in it, but it's nothing. It's not like stuff floating around inside or anything like that. All right, so you take a little sip. It tastes pretty strong. It's not the best flavor that you've had before, but it's not, you know, it's not the worst. It's decent whiskey. It's got a bit of a punch behind it.
I feel like Joseph just nods, hands it back to Stan, and he's like, all right. It's definitely worse than ours, so something's going on here.
I'll give it a sniff. Does it smell stronger than ours?
Like,
all from the outside, is it packaged nice? Like,
the packaging is pretty nice. Yeah. Again, falsely advertised, but yeah, it's the bottles are nice. The corks are the cork was, you know, secured well. It seemed to be bottled appropriately. Giving it a smell. Again, you smell that like overripe to slightly rotting fruit smell. But nothing stands out to you.
It doesn't stand out to me.
No, it does not stand.
All right. I'll chalk it up to maybe it's just some good marketing that they're. I don't know. We'll have to see the operation itself.
So I'm just making a note here.
I like how Stan and Joseph have already gotten to work a little bit, being like, okay, what's going on here? Joseph just wants to go home. He's like, the sooner I figure out what's happening, the sooner I get home to my wife.
Well,
Seamus is licking his dentures, waiting for himself to get a swig.
I'll absolutely just be like, here, you let me know what you think, Seamus.
Oh, let's get on to go.
He did just start.
I'll take it. I'll take a swig.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, it tastes. You've tasted better. You've tasted worse. It's kind of neutral, but it does, you know, feel very high proof.
Hey, strongest stuff to make in Newfoundland.
That could be it. There's not always a demand for quality as much as effectiveness in this this market.
My boss says you should only drink during church.
Trust me, son, there's lots of other times you should be drinking.
How often does your ma go to church?
Every day, sir.
Okay.
Multiple times a day.
She's there all day, sir.
She says that preacher man's real nice.
He comes by.
So as you kind of pass the bottle to Seamus, he takes a swig. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll just say, you know, get going by tomorrow at some point. Head up over to Blackwater Creek. I might recommend I know of one of Waylon's old runners, retired a few months back, named Sean O'Connor. He living sort of nearby. He'll give you, his known address where he currently is. Probably knows a little bit about Waylon's operations here. If you want to do a little questioning before you head out, get a little more information. But other than that, I don't got much else for you. Just go talk to the Waylons, and things, like I said, especially with a copper with you, may get a little out of hand. They seem to be a little high-strung and loose cannons at times, from what I hear from the crew. But I don't want you boys leaving that place until you either have a deal with the Carmodies or know what's going on, what's making this whiskey so interesting to the people. Got
What's
that?
going on out of that talk by?
Yes, sir.
You'll have all hands throwing hands.
Yes, it may break into a fight if things aren't handled correctly, but hoping there's enough smooth talkers with you, and also hopefully money talks as well, and calms emotions.
Always
Better
has,
not
sir.
break out into a fight. I didn't agree for anything dangerous.
Well, I can't
I'll make
promise.
If it's all hands you want, it's all hands you'll get.
I have no idea what he's saying, but I'll take care of that.
And I can't promise safety, but I can promise that money going to the Carmodies isn't the only payout that will be coming if you boys figure this out.
That gets Joseph, like, he lights up a little bit. He's like, oh shit, the
Yeah.
house needs some repairs.
He seems to know how to placate you a little bit. And yeah, he leaves you with that. He goes back to cleaning up the room.
All right. I assume it's like late in the evening.
It is, yes. Yeah, it's probably
Okay.
about 10 p.m.
How Blackwater Creek? Would I know how to get there? Probably, right?
You know how to get to Dunwich?
Okay.
And it's only like 6 or 7 miles away from that, so you figure you can get some directions.
Okay.
From someone else in the crew, if not the boss.
All right. If there's nothing else you need, Declan, I'm probably just gonna go retire early and prepare to travel tomorrow.
Sure. And if you boys need any arms before heading out, you know where where that's kept. Stand. You can get yourselves
Oh.
equipped.
Well, of course, like show the rest of the gentlemen. I don't think Stan would really take one himself.
Yeah. So if anybody wants any sort of arms, you get taken to the maybe not tonight because it's not here at this warehouse, but stop by the armory before one of your other like safe house locations. So if you want any weaponry within reason, let me know.
I'll go to my attic and get my bolt action.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of you have a weapon or two of your own anyway, but just in case.
Peter's all good.
Peter's got his papa's gun.
His grandpappy's
Like-
good.
Oh, his grandpappy.
Joseph has his knife, and he's like, the more guns there are, the more likely there is for someone to shoot a gun, and he's gonna try and get out of this without fighting. So he's like, all I need is my knife.
Okay.
Perfect.
We'll make sure to bring some extra ammo for the other two, though. Never hurts to have the bullets on hand. Better than
Yeah,
buying them
let
out
him
of
do the shooting for
out of
us.
market. Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything not weaponry related that you would like to get before heading out? I sent that equipment list in Discord earlier this week. If there's anything you want to buy from like the store before heading out, you're welcome to.
Yes, I would like to sneak one of the bottles of booze that I saw in the crate on my way in.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of them. A bunch of them have been pried open and they've been working on unloading them, so you can snag a bottle. Honestly, one of the other crew probably sees you and they know you, Seamus, and they're not gonna try to stop you.
Cool, it's my walking booze. I'll be done by the time I get home.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask Seamus to take one for me too. Ma's pretty thirsty.
Yeah,
Got a
two
meeting
for the
with Jesus
boy.
tonight.
2 for the boy.
What'd you say, Stan?
I said, Mom's got a meeting with Jesus tonight.
She's gonna be at the church all day tomorrow.
All right. Will you be reaching out to that other contact before heading out, or are you just gonna head to
Yeah, I'd probably be
Blackwater
reaching out
Creek.
to him.
You know how far past my bedtime it is?
It's 10 o'clock. It's been your bedtime for like what, 5 hours?
Pretty much.
The person who came to send you the message from Declan probably had to wake you
Probably
up, right?
woke me up, yeah.
He's probably banging on the attic door like, Seamus, the boss wants you. Okay. Can I get a Constitution roll from one from Joseph and a hard Constitution roll from Seamus?
I thought this might happen.
What might happen?
Oh, it's got
Ooh.
okay, so
7.
it's not
That's
really
an
a
extreme
regular-
success.
Wow. He can handle his mysterious liquor.
Ooh.
Seamus decidedly cannot. Oh no, yeah, hard. Yes, it was a hard one. So you needed a 25 for that.
Yeah, I needed a 25.
All right, good to know. Thank you.
I feel like Seamus is constantly hammered, so this is okay.
That's fair.
He'll survive. He survived worse for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the cumulative hangover that's going to kill him.
You can't be
Eventually.
hungover if you never stop being drunk.
That's all right. I'll get me a good bread dinner and I'll be fine.
All right, so y'all head to bed after the meeting with the boss. You go back to sleep, Seamus. Seamus, make a luck roll for me.
Luck?
Seamus just doesn't show up tomorrow.
Oh dear.
19, that's a win.
All right. So you all wake up next morning, get ready to congregate. Seamus, you feel fantastic. Like,
Of course I do.
more spry than you felt in a long time. You get up before the sunrise, like you probably normally do, considering how early you go to sleep. But
That's enough
yeah,
time for a booze and bath.
your joints aren't creaky anymore. You're just feeling pretty good.
Awesome. I will still not spryly walk down these stairs.
Not used to your new spring in your step.
Yeah, I don't know if I know where to. I guess we're meeting back at the warehouse, so I will slowly amble my way there.
I'm sure you would have set up a meeting place at one of the crew's more convenient locations, probably somewhere
Sure.
closer to where this contact was located.
Do we have a vehicle?
That is a fantastic question. If nobody has a personal vehicle to use, you can likely Stan can commandeer one of the crew cars.
I was like, Joseph has a bike, so
It's a long way.
If we
It's a
all wanna
long way
hop
to
on the
Blackwater
back.
Creek.
Stan probably would have taken a company vehicle.
Okay.
Hey,
Uh,
hey. Need a boot and bonnet and everything in between.
I feel like Stan keeps a company vehicle on him. He's like, why would I buy a car when I
Yeah,
have
I mean,
the money?
true.
I write the check for this. I might as well take it.
It's not one of the nicer ones because you don't want to bring one of the nice cars out into the boonies, but it runs, it functions. It'll get you from here to Blackwater. Oh, I will also note there was something I wanted to mention at the beginning and I forgot in all my introduction stuff when I was talking about like the differences between this game and other RPGs. Since we got the introduction done with, just a note to people watching and to you guys, although I've told you most of this already, characters be squishy in this game. So things are a little more dangerous. Like as you can see here, Stan has a ripe HP of 10 and a shotgun at close range can do 4d6 damage. A rifle can do like 1d10 damage. So
I'm gonna die.
fighting in this game can be very dangerous and a lot of times lethal, depending on how things roll. So, in that vein, running from combat can oftentimes be a better choice than choosing to stay and fight. This game also deals a lot more with like the investigative side of it, asking questions and getting information from people rather than running blindly into danger. Although I have a feeling that will still happen occasionally, because you know what fun is a game if you're not brazenly running into the storm. But also, time will pass as things happen in this game. A lot of times as like a consequence of pushing a roll or failing an investigation, like a spot hidden, or not spot hidden, but like a research check or something like that. The downside will be time will pass. Or if you get really injured, healing takes time. So like retreating to a nearby city or town to spend some time to heal up is not unusual. There could be times where you guys take a break from the investigation to just stay somewhere nearby and get better before going back in if you're really close to hurt. So injuries happen, they take time to heal, and that's kind of how that's all dealt with.
Okay.
Cool.
There's no magic short rest. All of a sudden I have a left arm back.
No, and as a matter of fact, let me check this cheat sheet I sent, because it does have the notes for healing, just to give you a better idea of how the healing works. So there's wounds. If you get damaged and the total damage is more than your max HP, in one attack, you die. You're just dead. A single attack that does more than 50% of your max health can give you a major wound if you don't succeed on a constitution check. If you fall to 0 hit points with a major wound, you're unconscious and dying, which requires a constitution roll every round, or else you die. There is a first aid skill. The first aid skill is used like as a in combat sort of patch up. Within an hour of a wound, you have to succeed on a first aid check to heal 1 hit point to a person. And that 1 hit point is, so to heal 1 hit point. If the person is dying and you do a first aid check, it gives them 1 temporary hit point, and a medicine check needs to be succeeded on them within a fairly short amount of time, in order to stabilize them and make them not dying anymore. A successful medicine check heals 1d3 hit points if used the same day as the wound. And then if you are not majorly wounded, you recover 1 hit point per day. If you are majorly wounded, you make a check every week to see if you heal from the major wound, and then you heal from that point. So yeah, it's pretty nasty if you get too hurt. But that all said, you're not going to be
So being
running
a
into danger.
coward keeps you alive.
Yes, 100% it does. You may lose your entire crew, but you will be more likely to survive for sure. Also,
I feel like the only person Joseph even vaguely likes right now is Stan, and he's not that attached to him, so.
I don't like it that much. Another thing is, we mentioned hit points. There's another stat in this game that also works as like health, and it's used more often than actual hit points, is sanity. A lot of stuff in this game is going to be messed up. So if characters see things that, you know, are unnatural or just really gruesome or things like that, there is checks to see if you go insane. There's rules for bouts of insanity, long-term, short-term insanity, all that kind of stuff. I think that's the gist of it. So we will continue on from there. Did you have something, Evan?
No.
Okay. So you all get back together in the morning, and you pile into the car that Stan has acquired, or, you know, drives around in himself. And you said you're heading to the contact?
To Sean O'Connor, right?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you go to Sean's place, and it's a nice, you know, 2-story home in the city. And yeah, front door shut. One of the windows to the side is kind of cracked open. Here, somebody might be home.
I checked to make sure Peter doesn't have his super obvious cop uniform on.
I'm still wearing the pants, but it's just a wife beater up top.
Okay, that's fine. The hat doesn't have a badge on it.
It doesn't. No. It's where, and I've also, well, first I'd turn it around to make you think that it's just on the back, and you're just not seeing that.
So it's turned around, and you see it, and you're just like, let me see the other side.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm all good.
All right, good.
All right. Who heads to the door then? And do you all go?
Like Joseph will want to go because his entire job here is investigating what's happening. So he's gonna be pretty. Anytime they're talking to anyone, he's gonna want to be involved.
Fair enough. Seamus, Peter.
Peter will keep watch outside, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll stay where you're two. I'll come where you're at.
I mean, Seamus is going with you. And Peter, I imagine this being your normal post when you're like out on jobs, as the other cops are like, Peter, just stay out here and let us know if anybody comes up.
They keep asking me to do it. I just like keep getting better and better, I think.
And then he critically failed a listen check last night.
I hope somebody's gonna watch our backs.
All right, so
Dial to the side, boys.
yeah. So the three of you walk up. Peter, Stan, and watch outside. Stan knocks on the door. You hear some shuffling from inside. Door kind of, you know, no real fuss. This guy doesn't seem to be expecting anything unusual. Sort of middle-aged man. I think Stan's the oldest one here. He's probably a few years older than Stan. Balding, kind of wispy hair, little bit heavier set. Yeah, what's up? What's going on, boys? What can I do for you?
Be Mr. Sean O'Connor.
Yeah, that's my name. And he kind of looks at you, squints at you for a second, Stan. Oh, you're one of Declan's boys, aren't you?
That'd be correct, sir.
Aye, and I never seen one so pretty as that.
Well, thank you. I try to keep my manly figure as good as I can.
Not you.
He kind of looks away like I'm still taking it as a compliment. All right. Well, what can I do for our esteemed Declan today?
We hear Waylon's got a new op out there in Blackwater. We just got a couple questions for you if you're willing to answer them.
Interesting. Yeah, and so we got the accountant, we got the old guy. What about you, pretty boy? What's your job? Looks at
You don't need
Joseph.
to worry about that right now. I ask the questions that need asking, and then I write the reports that need reporting.
He's right rotted today, eh?
Aren't you
Yeah,
all
that's right, Seamus.
a shining bunch out here in the morning sun? Make for me just a group persuasion check. So group checks, and let me make sure I'm getting the rules right because they work differently depending on, like, there's a couple different ways group checks can be made. And I know, Danny, last time when we were doing the character creation, we were talking about helping.
Oh, yeah.
And I did figure out that, and that is also dependent on what kind of help is being provided. So let me just get back to the page and the rules. Okay, so more than one player rolling dice for a skill check. In some circumstances, 2 or more characters, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, everyone can roll, but only one of you needs to succeed. So just the 3 of you can roll a persuasion check for me,
Okay.
Persuasion.
or some sort of one of the interpersonal checks. So like fast talk. You haven't really been trying to con your way in, but you know, if you're trying to kind of intimidate him, like Joseph, yours was a little more intense. That D10
It's
is
the
sick.
morning, he's cranky, and he also doesn't really like people realizing who he is, because he, you know, has a real day job.
Mhm.
Could I
Fair
try
enough.
fast talk too? Remind.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, because you literally talk fast, and he doesn't understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm looking for where intimidate is.
Damn. It is hard to succeed
there it
out
is.
here.
God. Where did I put my... Oh, I put it all in charm. Oh, I was not being very charming, though. I played that wrong. I'll roll a persuade. I was like, I know I put stuff in, like, peopling.
All right. If anybody would like to push or spend luck, you're welcome to. Otherwise, it's a failure across the board. All right. Well, he will.
Yeah.
And what... Could I, like, push, but then, like, when I push, like, say something else so that I can roll charm instead?
Just kind of like change your tone. Yeah, because usually with a push, you have to say what you're doing to change it. I'll say, yeah, you can change up your approach and notice that being forceful isn't really working with this guy, so you can turn up the charm.
Yeah.
Sure. I will say, so usually with the pushed roll, two things. You can't spend luck to succeed after you've pushed. It's one or the other. So if this fails, you can't spend luck to succeed on it.
Yeah.
Second thing is,
If it fails,
if you
it's
fails,
bad.
there's a downside. And normally, if I have something in mind, I will tell you what the downside is going to be. If I don't have something in mind, we can talk about it to figure out what the downside will be. In this case, he's just going to slam the door in your face, and you guys won't get any information from him.
So...
How often can we push?
Say again?
How often can we push?
You can push on any roll you want. One time on any roll. Any failure, I
okay.
should say.
Wow. All right.
I will say that since the three of you made checks and all failed, one of you can push on this roll.
Got it.
for
I've
this
got a
group check.
65 charm, so...
I would just push to 50 again, so 65 is much better.
Yeah.
So, Joseph is gonna see that he's kind of pissed the guy off. He's gonna, like, sigh and be like, sorry, man. It's a bit early for me. I haven't had my coffee yet. Listen, my name's Joseph Murphy. I work for the paper. We're just trying to get this figured out. I just want to be on our way, get this solved, go back to my normal job. I'm sure you know how it is with Declan. Like, we've all been here before. He kind of tries to, like, connect with him. He's like, you got out, you're retired, but I'm
Alright.
still in this. I just want to go home.
All right, go for it. Make your charm roll. That's a success.
God.
All right, nice. I will also say, because I didn't have a name, this guy didn't have a name off at first, and I went to figure out a name for it, and I did like a random name generator, and one of the first names that came up was like, oh, that's a good one. And I was like, wait a second, that's Joseph. That's already a character's name in the game. So it became Sean. All right, so he
His
kind
middle
of
name's Joseph.
yes, exactly.
That's why he trusts another Joseph. He's like, your name's Joseph. Got it.
That's my paw's name. He kind of looks the three of you up and down. Oh yeah, I'm sure if I shut you out now, you're gonna get some shit from Declan. No, Waylon was a pain in the ass on things like this. All right, boys, come on in. We'll do some talking. I don't know how much information I can give you. I've been out of the game for a little while now, but come on in and we'll talk about it a little bit. He leads you in. He's got, you know, a couple, like an armchair, a couch, nice coffee tables, fairly sparsely decorated place. Couple pictures hanging on the wall, probably a family or something, but you know, not
Can I
anything
scope it
exciting.
out for any easy to grab weapons just in case?
Sure. Make a spot hidden check.
Ooh. I'm good at that. Doesn't matter.
88. There are some games that I really like that are also D100 systems, but it's If you roll doubles, it's a crit. So if you fail but roll doubles, it's a critical failure, and if you succeed and roll doubles, it's a critical success.
That's cool.
I like those kinds of systems. Anyway, you look around, you see through the back into like the kitchen, there's a dining table that has like a pistol sitting on it, but nothing within easy reach
Okay,
in the living room.
got it. I'll make sure to sit closest to get to the dining room.
Sure. And he sits in the armchair, which is facing you guys and actually back to the dining room. All right, boys. What can I help you with? What do you need? You said something about those Carmody brothers? Is that what I'm hearing?
Did we?
I thought Stan said that. Oh no, you just said that you had some work from Declan. Is that right, Evan? Is Evan
I think
muted?
it's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Damn it! It doesn't make the noise for me anymore, and I don't know why. Yeah, I said I had questions about the operation in Blackwater.
Okay, so yeah,
That's not right.
so he would say that is right, Blackwater Creek. So he would say that in response to that. So you had some questions about those Carmody brothers and what they're doing up there.
Yes.
Do we have one of the bottles with us?
Well, Peter said he was given one to his mama, and Seamus said that he drank the whole bottle by the time he got home. So unless you have an empty bottle, no.
That's fair. And he tasked me with finding out where they're getting paid, for where they're getting their funding from, and how much money they're making off of it, right?
Well, yeah, because he wants to pay them off, and he's offering to pay them what Waylon is already paying. And also just task the crew as a whole to figure out what is the secret that is making theirs so much better, or making it so much more appealing to whatever crowd that is buying the stock.
Okay. Just appraise the whole operation is my main personal task, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joseph's gonna say, so they've been outselling us on their product. And I mean, I'm sure you remember, we run that business in this area. So we need to know why they're performing so much better than us, and what exactly is enticing all the customers to start buying their whiskey.
All right, I see where you're coming from. Although, as I recall, there was a pretty even split between the Waylon's crew and yours, but that's beside the point. I'll let you keep your pride as far as you can on that one. But well, I haven't been up there in a while. I mean, that farm's been there for a while. That's their family farm, as I understand it, and they're growing the corn themselves. They got some hands up there to help tend to the crop and harvest, and they got the distillery set up in the barn. From last I heard with Waylon, I've been out for, about 6 months now at this point. Actually, no, sorry, you'd say about 3 months at this point. And haven't heard anything since leaving. So they were ramping up production a little bit from what I heard around when I left. I mean,
And the booze, it was right strong back then too.
That was pretty good, yeah. I mean, we had a decent market ourselves. Nothing to write home to your mom about, but it was passable for those who were desperate enough for it.
Made me feel all sorts of giddy this morning.
Oh, you've had some. Well, I guess I haven't had any recently. Maybe they changed something up in it then. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the boys found some sort of secret ingredient to spice up the thing, but I wouldn't know about that if it's happened in the past, few months. But those boys can be a bit touchy when outsiders come poking around, so I'd at least be careful about that. I know they can be a bit trigger happy.
Any advice for getting them on our good side?
don't sneak up on him. Probably a good method. And he as he's talking, explaining, he kind of looks, there's a clock on one of the side tables. He's like, oh, excuse me for a minute. I gotta go take care of something. And he stands up, walks into the kitchen. He walks past the table. Seamus doesn't touch the gun.
I would have stood up as he goes by.
Yeah, sure. He doesn't touch the gun. He walks by. You guys hear some shuffling around in the kitchen, and as he comes out, you see he's got like a serving tray with a plate on it with, you know, just some light breakfast food, you know, some toast that he made up and a couple of eggs.
Oh, fire up a scaff. I'm gut-founded.
And he says, just don't mind me for a second. I'm sorry. I need to go. My mother's sick upstairs. I need to go feed her. I'll be back down in a second. Just mind yourselves, please. He goes upstairs. Do you guys do anything while he's around?
Snooping immediately.
Sure.
He's gonna snoop the moment he's out of sight.
Make a spot hidden check.
I'm not very good at this, but
Sure aren't.
God. Luckily, I'm not bad enough to get a critical fail.
I would want to make sure he actually goes upstairs.
Sure, yeah. The stairs are, you know, in this living area to go up, so you do see him go up the stairs, and you hear him walking around upstairs, talking a little bit, in sort of a lower voice, or like a softer voice, not low. It's just, you know, in a kind voice.
Yeah.
Is anybody else doing anything?
Yeah, I want to pop out the window and check on my boy.
Sure, Peter. What are you up to?
I'm just like I'm leaning on. I'm doing exactly what I do every day. I'm leaning on the wall, arms crossed in front of me, looking all intimidating, and that's about it though.
Okay. Roll an intimidation check just to see how intimidating you are.
Okay. Hold on, gotta find it.
I love our muscle.
I thought I had.
Just kind of lounging.
Pure himbo.
62 is the pass.
Oh, he's very intimidating.
Yeah, I mean,
told you I'm pretty good at this.
he looks kind
He's
of
a large man.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say he looks a little goofy just in general, knowing him and knowing his personality. But for somebody just walking by, this is a big guy just kind of standing here, projecting this like aura of just strength.
I'm imagining this is just like a road with like a nice old lady walking her dog who immediately crosses the road when she sees him.
Absolutely. There's absolutely.
I'm eyeing her the entire time, dude.
You're
Suspect.
She's walking up, and you're looking at her, and as she gets within like 30 feet of you, the little dog starts yipping at you, and she kind of picks him up and scuttles across the street with the dog.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
So that's what you see, Seamus.
He's got that wife beater on as well, so he's just got like
And just
a tank
showing the
top on and
muscles.
nothing else. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Joseph, you look around the home. It's like I said, it's pretty nicely kept, mostly because there's just not a lot to make a mess with here. Furniture's pretty sparse. There's maybe like a magazine on the coffee table, but nothing out of place. I mean, you also would spot the very obvious pistol just sitting on the dining room table, but other than that, it's pretty empty here. He's got a radio.
Anything's on the walls, like paintings and
There's some pictures,
whatnot?
some photographs.
Pictures.
Yeah, you want to take a look at those?
Sure.
You
I
see,
do inconspicuous things.
sure. You see some family photos, photos of what would probably be a younger. I just say his name was Sean, right? Name again, yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean O'Connor.
And a younger girl as well with an adult man, presumably their dad. Another picture of him and his sister. Some, you know, like a photo of a pet dog that is absent here, but you imagine was maybe a childhood pet or something of that nature. Maybe one frame that just has like the stock picture still in it.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Just like decoration that he bought, but didn't really. I mean, it's like sort of one of those like art pieces that they put to sell stock pictures. So it's not like another family.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what I thought you were. I was like, all right, interesting. Can I like futz with that picture?
No, it has like, you know, the I'm trying to think of photo sizes, but you know, like a frame size picture. It has the size of the picture in it, and then it's just like a copy of Starry Night or something like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Make an intelligence check.
I'm better at that. Ah, yes.
And just to note, in this, intelligence is more akin to like wisdom from D&D and other similar systems, where it's sort of like puzzle solving and just intuition. Education is the knowledge, like book learning skill. So you're looking at these pictures, and you notice that there's no pictures with a mom.
Oh.
You see his dad and his sister. You see again his sister, the dog. There's maybe another picture with maybe him and an old girlfriend or a wife or something like that. Nothing
Can I
with
think about
a mother.
What food he had on that plate again?
Yeah, it was a normal breakfast. There was some eggs, some toast, maybe a couple slices of tomato.
It seems normal enough.
And you just hear him still upstairs talking.
Eavesdrop, maybe.
Sure.
See if we can hear upstairs.
Make a listen check.
I'd help
Damn,
with that.
and Peter's outside. Darn. Well, you had him help. You can roll
Is the
as well.
upstairs window open? Can Peter be like snooping from outside?
Honestly, yeah. If you want,
I'm
if
not particularly good at this actually. I don't need help.
Holy shit.
No.
not a critical failure, but a failure
Thank
is.
God.
Are we all listening at the staircase? Should we all roll it?
I imagine like a Scooby Doo moment. You're all
heads
like,
pop out.
yeah,
Exactly. All
exactly.
at different levels. Yeah.
Wow, 89. Stan's not good either.
Why are only some of my dice cool?
31, but I have a 20.
All right. So yeah, I mean, you all listening. Like I said, it's sort of a softer voice, kind of kinder sounding, but you can't really make out any words.
Okay.
Left my hearing nods at home.
Do
I
you
feel
all?
like Joseph's gonna not try and push his luck at this point. He feels like he's wasted enough time snooping. He's gonna go sit back down before he gets caught being an asshole.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you all sit back down?
I don't know. I feel like Seamus is the guy who just storms upstairs and says, "Where's your nah?" But
You're free to if you would like to.
You can do that.
These guys don't seem like those type of people. So
No.
strange.
I mean,
No,
his
it's
gun's
Afraid of himself.
downstairs. What's the odds he has a second gun upstairs? I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably fine.
What are the odds this ex-gangster has another gun?
I'll consult the team first. I'll ask them if I
You
should
could
storm
tell
up
us
there.
what you found out, because the rest of us didn't look at that. Like,
Oh,
episode
sure,
as
yeah,
close
yeah.
as
Oh,
we
I
did.
didn't even think about that. Yes, he doesn't have an eye.
What do you mean he doesn't have an aunt? She's upstairs.
Ah, look at the photos. Not a one with an eye.
I feel like Joe's gonna be a little salty that somehow Seamus out-investigated him and noticed that and he did it. And so now he's like seeing Seamus in a new light. He's like, damn, this old man was worth bringing along. What the hell?
He's
Like,
nosy.
he's a little offended that he didn't notice it. Like, not mad at Seamus, mad at himself. He's like, how did I not see that?
Shall we
trying to
go
think
where
of
he's
just-
to? Or
No.
wait till he comes where we're at?
Wait till he comes where we're at, I think.
I love Stan just like monotone, just responding very seriously to Seamus's lingo.
Somebody's got to be the calm one here.
Every good comedy group needs a straight man.
Right.
I'll take a seat. And wait, Ansley.
Sure. A few minutes after you come down, or sit back down and you know, huddle back around, he comes down the stairs. He has a tray with a different set of, you know, silverware and stuff. You would all notice now that you're a little bit suspicious. it seems to be last night's dinner. It's not the breakfast that he just brought up, but none of the food on the tray has been touched. It's like mashed potatoes and gravy, a couple pieces of chicken, some like carrots and peas. But it's just, it seems like a fresh plate of food that he's brought back down with him.
Your mom not have much of an appetite last night?
She got the gout?
He kind of looks at the tray. Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, she's sick, so sometimes she just doesn't have much of an appetite.
Well, that's too bad. You know, my condolences. I imagine that's tough. Were you too close? Or are you too close? No.
I assume she just died.
The smooth talker in the group just immediately slips up.
Are you too close?
Oh yeah, of course we're close. I mean, as soon as she fell ill, she, I insisted she come stay here so that I could tend to her.
Sounds like a very good son, yeah. And he's just kind of like waiting to see if he can catch him in a lie, but he's not gonna push it. He's like, this is a guy that's helping us right now. I do not want to piss him off. We already almost got the door slammed on us once.
Sure, and you can actually, let me double check. It's one of two skills, and I always forget which is which. I think it's the psychology roll, which basically will work like insight. If you would like to, it's either psychology or psychoanalysis. I think psychoanalysis is like what therapists will use to cure insanity. I think psychology is like reading people's body language and stuff like that.
Well, I have a 1 in psychoanalysis and a 40 in psychology, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's psychology.
Yeah,
even Peter has a 10 in psychology, so everyone must get this.
Yeah, 10 is the base, yeah. Perception skill common to all humans. It allows the user to study an individual to form an idea of another person's motives and character. So
just really needs his morning coffee. He's off his game this morning.
Or his morning whiskey. Seamus seems great.
Actually, that's what he needs. He needs his morning whiskey. That's one of the perks of working for Declan is he gets it cheap.
Irish whiskey. You can have an Irish coffee. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem standoffish or anything. He calmly brings the tray back into the kitchen, sets it down on the counter, comes back in, again, doesn't even move towards the pistol, sits back in the chair. I mean, can I give you, sorry to make you wait, is there anything else I can help you gentlemen with? Any more knowledge? I mean, like I said, I've been out for, things change so fast in this game, I don't know how much more my...
Do you have any experience dealing with the Carmody brothers? Anything we should do to make them a bit friendlier to us?
Well,
any advice in that area?
I mean, knowing McBride, you probably got a nice fat stack of cash with you to pay him off. Am I right?
You could say that.
That should set him right.
Okay.
Send a friendly face to greet them. Maybe somebody that they would, maybe somebody that's a friendly face that they wouldn't quite recognize as one of Declan's boys right up front, because if they know you're with Declan, they may think that you're there for them to take over in a not so friendly way. If you do truly mean well for them, then maybe keep your connection a little less up front.
I used to know the Damien one. He's a young lad, young enforcer, like Peter.
Yeah, then I would recommend, old man, you stay a little farther back until you kind of get a good rapport with them. Make nice, and then bring in the rest of Declan's boys. Too many numbers also might set them off, so be aware of that.
Okay. Well, any other questions for them, Joseph?
No, I feel like we've learned what we need to here.
Oh, and also, I mentioned before, but they do usually have a handful of Wayland's other boys up there with them to, like you mentioned, Damien used to be an enforcer. They got a couple of them up there with them.
So we'll have to make sure we watch our back.
Standard procedure on
Understood.
all of Wayland's operations. I'm sure Declan has similar setups.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. O'Connor.
Sure, have a safe trip up there to the middle of nowhere.
Hopefully it'll be a quick one.
You can only hope. You only get so many of those in this job.
Yep. And this I'll just get up and start leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna shake a hand and just leave.
Sure. Seamus,
Joseph is still curious about the lack of photos of his mom, but he's like, this guy is like literally so unimportant to us, and whether or not he has a mom does not affect this job. So he's just kind of decided that he doesn't care enough to. He's like,
Investigate
this
further.
guy's mom or lack of mom is not our problem today.
Fair enough. Seamus, anything from you?
I'll go. Seamus will get up and follow.
All right.
Maybe he'll take a long look up the stairs as he's walking
He's
out.
gonna try to peek up.
Sure. You see no movement or sign of anybody else. I mean, you can't see into any rooms or anything up there, but you don't see anything.
Buddy?
But yeah, the three
You
of
don't
you
see
guys.
a monster peeking out of the closet.
True, you
Sure,
don't see
yeah,
that
that's
either. There's
more
no
like-
like no sneaky shifting shadows or anything of that nature. No.
Okay.
All right. Then Peter, you see the rest of your crew walk out of the door, or walk out the
Oh,
front
yeah.
door.
I immediately stop looking intimidating and just like, oh, how'd it go up there, guys?
Just kind of deflates.
He's just happy to be with his friends again.
Yeah, like he's very like kind of golden retriever-y, I think.
We
Okay.
didn't learn much, but it's a start. I think we're ready to head out, Peter.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So you all hop back in your car. I'm assuming no more equipment you need to get. If any of you looked at the equipment listing. And if not, you can head out on your way to Blackwater Creek.
I assume I would have a briefcase, at least something to carry the money in.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's actually a big canvas bag with a dollar sign on the side.
Perfect.
I'll drive.
That's up to Stan.
Not good.
No, it's rented in my name, so I'll keep the keys. Thanks.
Um,
Don't break the
I've
warranty.
been driving longer than you've been alive.
That's very evident, sir.
You can have shotgun, Seamus. That's the best seat anyways.
Yeah, I'll give you the map. You can direct me.
excuse me, Peter already called shotgun.
It's like you guys like aren't even paying attention to me.
Had to buy,
I
have it.
take
I'll
up
have a
like
smoke.
75% of this car.
Oh yeah.
Whoever
He looks
says-
over at Peter, remembers how tall he is, and goes, "Never mind. I think Peter gets shotgun."
Whoever sits behind him has no leg room. So you pile into the car. Peter just gets shotgun. Stan insists on driving. And
Yeah,
you
which
make
of us sits behind Peter and gets the lack of leg room?
let's Seamus and Joseph make a luck roll.
Ooh. Ooh.
All right.
Sorry, Seamus.
Seamus is old. He's probably the smallest of us, anyways.
I'm very small. Yes.
Also, on the bright side, what would normally be a very uncomfortable ride for you in your advanced age, your joints and stuff aren't as tight as you're used to. So, it's actually a lot more comfortable than you were expecting it to be. But you head off on the road out of Boston, west of the city here. And it is a bit of a drive. So you guys have to, stop once in a while at places in between for, diners for food. Stan, it's a work expense, so Stan covers it. And you will know, Stan, researching the night before, knowing you would be the one driving, that the most direct and easiest. It's not an easy place to get to necessarily, just because it's so out in the middle of nowhere. Is more than a day's worth of travel through back roads, over dirt tracks, many unpaved farm roads to get there.
Okay.
The quality of the roads makes the driving tough at times, just kind of slowing you down. Lots of potholes and just dead animals laying across the road. And as you pass into the Miskatonic Valley, which is where the town resides, in the bottom of this valley, you make a couple stops, like I said, and one of the stops you have to get gas. It's a very small little village, but as you're driving through, you get a bunch of just like glares from people. You stop to pay for the gas, and the person just kind of gives you the stink eye as you're paying and leaving, and you just don't get a super friendly reception out here, just in general as outsiders. But nothing to harm you. Nobody like goes after you in any way. It's just you want to leave that place as quickly as you got there.
Okay.
And as you pass into the hills that surround Dunwich, which is near where this town is, you pass into sight of the river, the Miskatonic River, for which the valley is named. And I'm going to need everybody to make a hard power roll for me. Hemal did it earlier, but when you make the roll, you can set the difficulty. So if you hit hard, it will tell you based on that.
There's a drop down under regular. It'll say hard.
Yes, thank you.
Ooh. Wait, why didn't that work?
It did.
Oh, it did.
It just
I
lied a
beat
little
it
bit.
by 1.
Oh my god.
I'm missing.
Me.
Oh, Stan, yeah.
I was writing some stuff down.
Note taker. All right, Stan.
Somebody's gonna do it.
So what are Joseph, Peter, and Seamus doing? Like, you guys have had a long drive. What have the four of you been doing on this drive?
Smoking.
In the car.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll
I
probably.
imagine it's an
Mr.
open top
Moneyback.
car. Yeah.
Back in the 20s, cigarettes were medicine, man. Like, my photo has Joseph with a cigarette in his mouth, so he's definitely on
That's true. I'll honestly probably bum a cigarette too.
Yeah. He's got like a fancy ass cigar case. It was his father's. He pops it out every couple hours when he's getting just too bored of the drive to keep going, and he offers one up to whoever needs one.
I will take it from the most treasured possession I have, which is just the current carton of cigarettes that I have in my pocket.
Carton of cigarettes, he says.
You missed it because you did your character creation on a different day than us, but his treasured possession is whichever cigarette carton he currently owns.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh, that's amazing.
And I will not share any of them from it.
But every time Joseph offers one up to the group, he does bum one off him.
Absolutely, I would take one, yes.
That's so
Complained about
on
the entire
brand.
time. He's like, it's not as good as the ones I have right now, but it'll do.
I already have one lit in my mouth, throw it out the side, and I grab the one you're offering.
You like the one that he offered off of your current one and discarded?
Oh.
God, I feel like Joseph's just looking around, kind of like trying to keep himself entertained. He's occasionally like writing things down in his notebook, kind of like doing some prep work for the story for his job when he gets back. He's like mid-report, and he had to like take a sick day to come do this, and he just told his boss, he's like, I'm gonna be gone for a couple days. Like, I'll keep working on the report on my off time. So he's like kind of just jotting down some ideas for that.
Writing about all the assholes in the towns that you passed through that were just
Yeah.
super
He's like, this
unwelcoming.
could be an interesting story. Small towns aren't welcoming to outsiders. Maybe I could write a report on that.
I'm
So
in the back seat with you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You want a good story? I'll tell you the story of Newfoundland. Oh, you fucking love it. Got a pub on every corner. Get a nice bread dinner, a nice martini. tell you all about it. All this talk of Newfoundland. Give me the warmest of tinglies and all that.
You know what, Seamus? If you can convince my boss to pay for a trip for me to go do a write-up on Newfoundland, I will. Like, I'll write that story.
Gives me the warmest fuzzies to do all this talking of Newfoundland.
But you gotta get him to pay for the trip, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Can me and my mom come too?
Yeah, sure, Peter. You and your mom can come.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh, no takesies backsies.
That's how little Joseph thinks he's ever going to this place. He's like, yeah, I can make that promise. There's no risk.
I love the banter between these characters. It's so good.
Yes.
I will say.
Joseph's just entertained by Seamus. He thinks he's the most interesting character. He kind of wants to write a report on Seamus at this point.
That's fair.
That'll do it.
And you know, the story of Newfoundland. As you continue through here, and like I said, you come into view of the river. The three of you are having your discussion in the back. Stan is focused on driving, you know, 2 hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And you see the river. You're the one paying the most attention to the road and the surroundings, being the driver, so that this is kind of hits you. And you, as you look at off towards the river, you start to hear like a drum beat, just a consistent, low, like bassy feeling going through you, just in the area. Slow, deep sound in your ears, just rhythmic, just like barely noticeable in the back of your mind, but you feel it and you sense it.
All of us?
Wait, just said Stan.
Oh, just Dan.
Is this just Stan?
Yeah, just me, because I'm the one that didn't pass the roll. And you said I feel it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I was muted for that. Seamus, you would hear it and feel the vibrations too.
Oh, I do as well?
Yes.
Anybody else
Casual.
feel that?
So you take a new cigarette and light it off and throw it out the window, and as you look out the window, you see the river off on the right side of the car, and you just feel this very bassy, rhythmic vibration. Every couple seconds it beats again, just on the edge of your perception.
Anybody else feel that?
I'm with you, boy.
A little rhythm going on?
Joseph looks up a little concerned because he has no idea what Stan's talking about, and he's like, this is the man driving the vehicle?
My mom says I have a lot of rhythm, so I feel like I would know.
Okay.
I don't notice anything, Stan.
Huh. Maybe I had too much coffee this morning. I don't
Park the
think...
tier rig handy. Let's give it a go.
What?
I'm glad I didn't have to ask for that translation.
He says park the car. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I'll park. I'll stretch. Anybody else could use a stretch of their legs?
Well,
Yeah,
please.
let's make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll pull over real quick.
Honestly, I could use some Irish coffee to wake me up anyways, and I think I've got some in my bag, so might not be a bad time to stop.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. So you pull.
As I see you pull that out, I'll say, nay, 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 and I'll pull out one of my sneaky hooches, and you can have some of that instead.
Oh,
Is this homemade, or is this homemade by you, or is it from somebody else?
This is my homemade.
Okay.
Yes.
You had a little operation up in Declan's attic.
Yes. My little attic still.
is this your trade for all the cigarettes you've bummed off me this car ride?
Hey, this is so you get good and right drunk.
I don't need to be good and drunk. I've got a job to do. I just need a
No better way to
kick
do
the
it.
edge off. He does take a swig though.
I don't need to be too drunk, he says, as he dips into it.
He's
He'll
had
give you a
he's had a hard
splash and
couple
then
of
take a
years,
much
man.
larger swig for himself.
He's got two-year-olds. Like, he's got twins that are in the terrible twos. His wife's always mad at him because he keeps disappearing mysteriously for a couple days at a time to do these stupid jobs. Like, it's been a rough couple years for him.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Poor feller.
Now he gets to spend the day with the thieves and knuckleheads
Yeah. If anything, it's a nice change of pace.
from the constant reporters and, you know, fast life of a journalist. All right, so you all pull over to the side, you know, up towards the river, and pile out of the car. Stretch your legs, get a little listening, and yeah, I mean, Seamus, Stan, you're still hearing it. Now that you're standing on the ground, you just feel it coming through your feet too, like just this pulse of vibration every couple seconds. Joseph, Peter, you're still not really feeling anything.
How you feeling it now, bud?
Mr.
No,
Krabs.
not really.
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say that.
noticing anything. Stan, can you describe exactly what you're feeling and noticing?
Just this low, subtle beat. Like the ground's vibrating a little bit.
Not that fast. Tempo's a little lower than that.
Every couple seconds, there's a little whoosh, whoosh. But it's
Can
not. It's nothing
Joseph
crazy.
reach down and like touch the ground to see if he can like feel the vibrations that way?
Sure. Make a. I always gotta check what the skills are because I'm not as familiar with these ones. Maybe there's again one that you're not great with, but natural world maybe.
We'll give it a run.
I would like to roll with my credit rating and pay to know.
You already know. Get out of here. Yeah, I mean, Joseph, you crouch down, you put your hand down on the ground, feel, and you just don't. You're not feeling it, and then maybe a couple seconds later, you do start to feel a vibration. Not like the thumping they were talking about, but you start to feel a vibration, and you're hearing it, and you look up to the side and down the road a little bit, and you see a car coming your way down the road.
You feeling all right, Stan?
Yeah, I think I feel okay. I don't know.
Let me
Maybe
know
it's
if
just-
you need me to take over driving at any point.
Will
Maybe
do.
just the long days get into you a little bit.
It's probably it. I feel alert, but I'll keep you updated if I get concerned.
Joe's a little worried that Stan's losing it, and he's like, we barely started this job, but he's like, it's probably fine.
Yeah, and I will say this because
Probably just bitters.
you left probably around afternoon, a little bit later, and it's coming towards night of the next day. So you did have to stop somewhere to like stay for the night, which was just taken out of the crew fund. But
Did we each get our own room, or did we have to bunk up?
depends how
we
frugal
keeping,
Stan was
boys?
feeling.
Hold pole or hold hoe?
I'm not sleeping
No,
with
I'd give us
Seamus.
each our own room the first night at least.
Okay. Yeah, so you all had your own rooms. It wasn't the most comfortable sleep you've had because it was in a little town or village in the middle of nowhere basically, but you all had your own rooms. So yeah, we're coming to evening on that night of the next day. But this car is driving down the road, and as you're all kind of feeling around, it does slow down and pull over to the side, and a man leans out the window. Hey, gentlemen, how's your day going? You get lost out here? Can I help you with anything? Don't seem to be from around here much.
No, sir. We're just stretching our legs. We've had a long drive. We're going to visit some friends, so we're making a little road trip and just needed to stretch. You know how it is.
Sure. Can I ask where you're going? I might be able to point you in the right direction. Name's John Merritt. I'm a veterinarian around these parts.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Business,
my
John.
name's Joseph.
What'd you say? Mind your own
I
business.
said, mind your own business, John.
He says that
Get the
while
fuck outta here,
Jess is
John.
already like shaking his hand. It's like, nice to meet you. Mind your own business.
Bit of a nice crowd you run with, buddy.
Oh yeah, they're quite the characters, but you know, we all have mutual friends and gas these days, you know. It's a whole 20 cents a gallon now, so carpooling makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, it's getting a little bit outrageous, but coming out to these farmlands, you know, they gotta have somebody out here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if I can't help you with anything, that's fine. I just wanted to offer my hand.
We appreciate that, sir. We're just taking a moment.
Joseph, did you have anything to ask him as you're shaking his hand? You got a nice firm handshake.
Oh yeah, he's got a quality handshake. He's shaken many a hand in his day. I feel like he might be like, so, you know, is there... Actually, no, he's not gonna ask anything. I can't think of a normal way to ask if he hears a weird rhythmic thumping. There's no normal way to ask that question.
Yeah, sure, buddy. I'm sure you do hear that. See ya.
Hey, friend, can you prove my buddy here is insane?
Yeah, he's just gonna be like, no, we're all right, sir. Thank you, though, for stopping. You know, that small town hospitality I've always heard about. It's nice to see.
Sure, not a problem.
I'm from a big city, so I'm not used to it yet.
Oh yeah, well.
It's like, is this guy bothering you?
No,
Oh,
sorry,
hey.
Peter.
Hey there, Sonny.
Yes.
Is Peter in his cop uniform right now?
No, it's still wife beater, but has the hat on, no badge.
Okay.
I see you. Yeah, your vegetables nice and good, son.
Yeah, I do.
Wait, are we supposed to like blend in? Like, should Peter be like, these are my dad's?
Very progressive family you come from there, boy.
No, I don't think Peter would be fine with having 3 dads.
Well, obviously Seamus is his grandpa.
Is that obvious to Peter?
Exactly.
Okay, but is Seamus Stan or Joseph Stan? Which grandpa is he?
So does Peter hear from his mom all the time, like, oh, that was just your father?
Wait, sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Does Peter, does he think they're all his dad because his mother introduces a bunch of different guys as his dad all the time?
Exactly. So many preachers have been in and out of our house. It's crazy.
Any middle-aged man that he like spends more than a day with, he's like, is that my dad?
Oh, she calls them father, and that's why you think that.
I have like 15 dads at this point. It's pretty sick.
Christmas is awesome.
Christmas is pretty sick. None of them show up, but it's like, it's cool to know they're there.
They're thinking about me for sure.
They are.
I feel like we get back in the car. Actually, you know what Joseph is gonna do? He just naturally is always a snoop. He's gonna peek in the car and see if he notices.
Yeah, I was
anything.
gonna say, while you guys are engaging him, I would like to inspect his car to see how well he could smuggle in that thing.
Sure, make spot hidden rolls. For those of you who
Yeah,
want to check this guy out.
Oh, that's one of the things I'm
They're
thinking.
like,
Are you kidding me?
I don't know why I didn't put like any points in the spot.
I failed by
should've put
1.
way more in.
I'm gonna use a luck.
Okay.
Oh,
Yo,
wait, no,
you got it, you
succeeded.
gotta.
He succeeded.
Oh, you got a hard success too, Peter.
Joe didn't see shit. He was busy chatting.
Not at all.
Yeah, so I mean that makes sense. Joseph is the one kind of keeping his attention. Seamus is being ornery.
Does this vehicle look like a vehicle a vet would have?
I'd
it's
say
a-
so. I mean, it's
Okay.
you're in the middle of nowhere. They kind of just use what they can get, but I mean,
Fair enough.
it's just sort of a, mode of transport. It doesn't seem like it would be used to haul animals or anything, but that's not
Okay.
really what he's set up
Yeah,
for.
no.
But Peter, yeah, like you go up, like, is this guy bothering you? And as you do that, you kind of like peek into the car. You do see some tools. I mean, you wouldn't know what veterinary tools look like. But you see to Alex, what you see are like, very rudimentary things. Like, this is a small town vet, so he has like thread and like sutures for sewing up animals. He has things for like restraining animals to keep them from harming him or themselves when he's working on them. You see some of the tools that have like, with the hard success, you see some tools that have been used recently with like some traces of blood on them, but you also see some that have like this weird black liquid material on them.
Okay. Peter will keep that to himself for now, but then like when we all get back in the car, I'll tell him about it.
Okay. All right.
So I guess we get back in our vehicle and we keep trucking.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, have a nice trip wherever you're going. And he
You too, John.
rolls up his window and drives off.
Guys, what I peeked did, I saw like a few tools that that the local vet brought to help my horse, but there was like some of them that like had this black gloop, nothing that like looks like my horse's blood or anything like that.
I forgot you had a horse. I forgot you were a horse kid.
I know, I was like, thank God I have a horse.
You say black goo.
It looked
I don't
like it.
know.
Like, have you ever seen like tar?
Black goo.
It did have like a tar-like look, maybe a little more viscous. A little more viscous than tar. Tar's a little bit thicker.
Okay.
It was closer to blood in its viscosity, but the color of tar.
Okay.
It was like a black blood.
Okay.
Back in Newfoundland, I had some cattle and pigs. I had 23 pigs, but never black blood pigs.
I don't know if I've ever met an animal with black blood.
Me neither.
No
I've
stories
missed
coming through the
animals,
paper
though.
about that sort of thing either.
Yeah, I feel like I would have read about that, or most likely written about that.
Right.
If such a thing existed. Odd. These little small towns have been giving me the heebie-jeebies. Am I the only one? Everyone here's been kind of an asshole. That guy was pretty nice, but I don't know. I don't like this area as much. Makes
You're
me
hearing
thought-
this thumping, you'd think the same thing even more.
Are you guys still feeling all funny?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of lost your attention when you were talking and doing other things, but as soon as you kind of turn your attention back to it, you can still feel that sort of like rhythmic noise. It's not disruptive or anything. It's just sort of in the back of your mind.
As we're driving, does it increase or decrease at all?
I don't know if it decreases, but you just start paying attention to it less. It sort of fades more into the background, if that makes sense. If you focus on it and think about it, you can still hear it. But if you're not thinking about it, it just sort of mixes in with the background noise.
Gotcha. And I still don't hear it?
Nope. You and Joseph are still noiseless.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no.
But you continue your drive. Probably about another 30-45 minutes. And on your drive in, you pass a lot of farmland. Like, there's a couple different farms you pass by of various different crops. But eventually you make it to where you were told. You're seeing signs for Dunwich soon approaching, and you come upon the town of Blackwater Creek. Let's see. So you don't have most of this information. Like, you don't know where most of these places are. So just, kind of keep the knowledge to what you know or are told about. But I do want to send you a map, or send you to a map, so you can kind of see what's going on here. So this is Blackwater Creek. I'm going to center the important bit for the stream. This bottom right-hand corner of the map is where you currently have made it to, the actual town itself.
Okay.
And in saying so, town is a bit of an overstatement for this place. It's got, you know, very basic, like you pull up in your car, there's a couple people walking around. There's not really a road. I mean, there is a road through the town here, but not really a place to park your car, so you kind of have to leave it on the side of the road just outside of the town and walk in if you're not driving through.
Okay.
You see, you know, the makings of a town. There's what appears to be a shop of some sort. To the southern side, you see like a hardware store or like a general store sign. There's a only other larger building is to the north, which appears to be a church. There's a few different shacks around that appear to be people's homes. A small schoolhouse immediately to the right as you ride in. There's like I said, there's some people running around here. You see a couple of adults out and about. Well, not like walking around in the town square so much, but just at the homes or, you know, walking into the church. There are some kids playing around and running around out here. Kind of keeping to themselves. The kids aren't really interacting with the adults too much at the moment, but they're just kind of playing around and, you know, seem to be keeping themselves busy.
Okay.
Are the people giving us weird looks here too?
Having parked outside of the town a little bit and walking in, you haven't really been noticed by a lot of the people yet. They probably heard the car coming, so they might know someone's approaching, but nobody's really paying attention to you as you make it in. As you make it into like where the town square is, this little nothing town square, it's basically just a large patch of mud in the middle of the town, surrounded by these various buildings in various states of repair, not anything in new condition, very lived in, very rustic. Dogs, like feral dogs, kind of make their way through the square on occasion, running around with the kids in some state, just kind of, you know, making noise and having their own kind of small town fun. You do all sense as you walk in too a faint scent of rotting fruit in the air.
Does it smell similar to the whiskey?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Think we found our key ingredient somewhere nearby.
It doesn't seem to have a direction though. It just seems to be lingering over the whole place. But as you're approaching, it is late. The sun has set shortly before you arrived here, and
Do they have an inn here?
you have to ask around, I suppose, and find out. But the sky is dark and a light drizzle has started as well. But it doesn't seem to affect the kids running around having fun. There's some of the homes have lanterns lit in the front of them to kind of illuminate the town square. It doesn't take much to illuminate this little patch.
Peter's going to the church.
Okay.
Oh, so he can go drinking. Got it. I would daughter up to one of the kids and say, where did ye go around here for a good bread dinner?
Let's see here.
What'd you say, mister?
Seamus, make a
One of them
charm
just
roll
starts
for the kids.
crying.
There's a tiplet of good stuff in it for you. And I'll flat some of the whiskey in my coat.
Okay. I will say, you know, make a charm roll. You get a bonus die. So what that means for the viewers is that it's a D100 system. You roll a 10s place die and a 1s place die. The bonus die gives you a second 10s place die, and you take the lower of the two. So you should be able to do that on the roll. Make it a +1 on the little slider.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't good at this, so that makes sense.
I feel like Joseph goes up and kind of like ushers the booze like behind him and is like, "You are not giving kids that." And
Like,
so that's
very common
partially
for this
why
time.
the charm. Well, how old are these kids actually? Are they like 12? Because then they're old enough. But like,
one of them is. The other one's probably like 8 or 9.
he's
I
like
would
none for
definitely
the
probably go to the
youngins.
12-year-old.
Yeah. Joseph's a father now, you know.
Oh, that makes sense.
Dad mode activated.
You want to come up and try to be charming to these kids?
Yeah, he's like, none for those youngins. They're much too little.
Okay, I will say you get
That's my
And
boy.
then,
you get a penalty
No, my
die
boy!
on this
Father help!
yeah, 'cause
the
he's
kids
pissed
want
off
the
that
booze.
Tom
because
Jones
they
wants the
totally
booze.
want it. So it's the same thing, just in the other direction where you roll 2 tens places and take the higher
Yeah.
of the 2. So just slide the slider to the -1 direction.
See, I feel like the older one though. So you said the older one looks 12.
Yeah.
He'd look at him and be like, "Hey, you know, how old are you, fella?" He's like, "You old enough to drink? Has your pops let you drink a little bit yet?"
He nods.
He's like, "All right, you tell us where we can go to get some dinner and maybe a bed for the night, and then I'm gonna walk away and you can let my friend Seamus here show you his collection."
Okay. So that if you continue to allow the booze,
Yeah.
then it'll just be a straight charm roll.
Yeah, he only had an issue with the like 8-year-olds having any booze.
Yeah, so you're just gonna walk away
12-year-old,
and
I
not
mean.
let it be your problem.
Yeah, he's not gonna like encourage it, but
All right,
you
39.
know, he's 12.
Okay, so if we help you, the old man's gonna give us something to drink. All right. Well,
You can have something to drink, but I will walk away. So you know what happens after I leave.
the
But I'm
little
only encouraging you to drink.
the little boy kind of like crosses his arms, and the older one's like, it's okay. He'll leave and I'll get my drink, and he winks very obviously at the boy.
Kids.
Well, our mama usually makes us dinner. There's not really a place like that to go to make food unless you're staying at someone's house. I hear those Jarvies at the farm up the way are nice and sometimes take in strangers.
Jar.
That's where I'm smelling this fruit from.
What else? What was the second question, or was it just about the food?
About food in bed.
Yeah. So yeah, Miss Jarvie cooks real good, and I think they have a bed that they let strangers stay in sometimes.
All right. Thank you, young fella. If Seamus starts to freak you out, you can holler and I'll come drag him off.
Okay, thanks,
He
Mister.
walks away.
Yeah, he says thanks, Mister, and he's like, okay, you can go now. And then him and the
He
little
walks
boy.
over to Stan.
Yeah, him and the little boy turn to you, Seamus, and reach out for their drink.
I'll bend down close to him and I'll say,
Never give the information before you get your payment.
and I'll walk away.
All right, Seamus, make a spot hidden. Make a spot hidden roll.
Make a what roll?
Spot hidden.
What are you spying? Oh, dude.
I finally
You're
passed
so
one.
good at that.
Little kid's got it.
I failed too.
So you bend down to give these kids this valuable life lesson, and as you get up close in their face to like warn them, like, this is the way the world works, kid. He kind of gives this little indignant thing and kind of like sticks his tongue out at you and sneers. And as you look in his mouth, you see he has these like big pustules along the inside of his mouth, along his gums, and you swear you see a little like squirm of like a little worm in his gums.
What the fuck?
Can you make a sanity roll for me, please?
Sanity?
Oh god, here we go.
I'm gonna write that in the notes.
Come on.
14. I mean, it's gross. It's like diseased, but nothing you haven't seen worse than before.
Maybe he will give him a swig of booze. Then.
Clean that out.
Hope this gets rid of that.
Help wash the mouth out a bit.
So you bend down and you start to say this lesson, and you notice that, and then you're like, next time, and then you hand it to him, like, keep that in mind.
Now you know. Yeah.
And they'll both take a sip. They both seem disappointed by it.
It's not the shit they're used to. It's not the good stuff, apparently.
Good.
That rotten fruit.
Tell you what, now that we're good friends here, where am I smelling? Where am I smelling that from? This fruit.
We will get back to that question in a second. Stan, were you doing anything? I know where Peter's going. Were you doing anything, Stan?
Sarah would probably be taking inventory, making sure like the car is squared away and locked. Oh wait, we walked away from the car. Looking around the town.
Sure. All right.
You know,
And you
not
can make.
going too far, not prying too close to houses, but like he'd be checking things out.
Okay, I can give you just
Rely on all of us.
I can give you just a general overview of the place, or I can, if you do a spot hidden roll, I can give you some more detailed stuff if that's what you want.
Yeah, definitely want some more details.
Then make a spot hidden roll. Seamus, question for you: where is your rifle right now?
Probably in the car.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you weren't carrying that around with you.
Can see
Yeah,
fuck
I
all.
know. It would be hard too. So
Yes, that's agreed. You would have a harder time on some of these social checks if you were carrying a gun around with you. Okay, so there's that spot hidden roll. We will cut to Peter walks away to go to the church. You pass by what's very clearly a schoolhouse. You look inside and see a handful of desks inside and like a chalkboard, and get flashbacks to the bad times.
To bad times.
And you walk into this church, doors open. You know, it's maybe welcoming isn't the best word for it because it's a rickety old church, but it's one of the two larger structures in this town besides the general store. It's a rough wooden single-story building, but high roof. Can you give me a spot hidden roll also, please? Mr. Peter,
Oh, me? Can do.
Oh me.
as you're going into the old church. Does it just a success? So yeah, you notice, you know, normal church stuff. A high hall, there's a small office, or a door to what you would presume to be an office in the back. There's maybe one other person in here kind of sitting at one of the pews. There is a handful of pews in here, probably enough to accommodate about 50 people. That number's a little high for you, but you know, just for for player knowledge. I think you can't count to numbers higher than your education, is that right?
Okay.
No, that's yeah, it's about 50 people. There's a lectern at the front and you kind of walk around to get a little lay of the land here. There's a Bible sitting on the lectern. Two strange things that you notice is the Bible is dusty. Like it's laying here on this lectern. It seems like it's been laying here for a while and not touched.
Okay.
The second thing you notice is on the pews, you know, you walk around where the person's not sitting, they do kind of give you a strange look. Do you sit down and say a prayer at all, or are you just looking around?
Oh yeah, I was planning on saying it right next to the other dude that's in there.
Okay. Sure. What's your appearance score? Or your
My
credit rating,
appearance
whichever
score
one's higher.
is 50.
50? Okay. I'll say,
that's like taking the neighboring urinal. You
Yeah.
s- you can't do that. You don't.
Hey, I'm just trying to pray with my brother right now.
Definitely take the neighboring urinal.
it's an older man, kind of wrinkly skin. You know, kind of reminds you a little bit of Seamus, maybe. And he's sitting there, and he kind of gives you a side eye, but he just kind of shakes his head. That boy ain't right. And continues with his prayers quietly. He does sort of scooch down a little bit towards the end of the pew as you sit in.
Oh, okay.
Like-
I kind of like. I do my whole little prayer right next to him, and
Okay.
then I kind of over like, hey, you pray it over there.
Unhinged boy.
I love Peter.
Yes, sir. That's what the church is here for.
Yeah, I love the church. I'm actually kind of new around here, though. Like, do you know where like a God-loving man like myself could stay the night?
Well, we don't got anything like an inn here. I hear the Jarvie farm, they sometimes take in out-of-towners. A nice God-fearing boy like yourself. I haven't seen her in a little while, but Miss Hawkins lives in the shack right by the schoolhouse there. She might take in somebody who's living for the Lord.
Who's living for the I live every day for the Lord, my friend.
She's
and
quite a
then-
God-fearing woman herself.
Oh, just like my mother. I got
Good.
a little southern there.
Good to respect your mama, boy.
Alright, yeah, and then I quickly run out of there.
Sure. And as he says, like, it's good to respect your mama, he does pat you on the shoulder and just give you like you're a good kid kind of nod.
Nice. Yeah, I do want to think that I'm like really dumb, but I'm lovable.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's definitely how it comes off, at least to me.
Nice.
As you're walking out, you do kind of get a look at some of the pews from the exiting direction, like the backs of them, and you do see like, and you saw in the vet's car, you see black stains on like the seats and the backs of some of the pews. Similar
are they
color.
any sort of like pattern or
No,
do they
just
have
like
any,
splotches.
hands or just
Nope,
splotches?
just like
Okay.
smears of black on the wooden pews. Nothing wet or fresh currently, like stains.
Okay.
What day is it? Like, is it Saturday? Is there gonna be church tomorrow morning?
I don't think there was a set day of the week. I'm gonna say it's probably like a Wednesday.
Okay. Is this the kind of place that is church every day? I'm curious to see a service.
They probably have some sort of service every day. Maybe, the big one on Sundays, but other than that, they'll probably have a small mass every day.
I don't know if they're doing sacrifices here or something.
Out of towners, great for sacrifice.
You know what? Maybe we don't want to go to the service.
Actually, can I run back to the guy in there and go, like, oh, by the way, where could I get a Bible for the night?
Well, there are some here to use during services, but I'm sure Baxter's got one at the store. That you
Could
can
I
buy.
use the one that's like up front there?
Oh no, that's the father's. That's Father Sprouston's. Sprouston's.
Rouston's?
Bible. And Peter, you know that name.
I do. Oh, I do know that
Sprouston.
name.
Sprouston.
I
It
do
takes
know
a
that
second.
name.
It's one of Dad's.
I
Dick
mean,
Sprouston. He's the one that got me into the cop biz.
yeah, he was a sheriff in Arkham.
Oh man. Okay. Can I ask where I can find Father Sprouston?
He points to the west, out like the left windows here. Oh, that's his shack right out there.
All right, awesome. I'm heading towards that guy.
Okay.
Or actually, maybe I'll head back towards everyone else first.
Okie dokie.
Or
Maybe we
Peter
can
isn't that
regroup,
smart.
share intel.
Yeah.
1 second.
Sounds like we have 3 possible places to stay for the night. And assuming everyone only has 1 bed, someone's sharing. Unless someone's got 2 spare beds.
All right, so, and then back to Stan with your spot hidden roll that you failed on. So you just kind of get a cursory glance. You see, like I said, there's some obvious things going on. There's the kids running around, the ones that Seamus is giving a drink to. There's another pair of kids standing under the eaves, since it is raining a little bit, of the general store, which is Baxter's store on the south. They're standing outside doing something, like it looked like they're conspiring a little bit. There is a man to the north, just beside the church that is sitting in a rocking chair, just rocking, and yeah, just kind of sitting there observing the town. And yeah, I think that's about all you pick up. There's not a lot of adult activity around here right now. It's just the kids running around at night at, like, you know, 8 or 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. And Peter runs back up to you. Or Peter, you said you were going back to the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Peter comes back. Joseph and Seamus finished up with getting information from the kids. And
Oh, I asked him about the fruit smell.
oh, right, you did. Well, it kind of always smells like that around here now. I don't know. I think it's just coming from one of the farms. I mean, I guess I kind of stopped noticing after a while, but it smells like the drink my daddy gives us.
Hey, your daddy's a good man. Giving you drinks early.
He says it makes us nice and strong and keeps our mouth clean, and he smiles, and you see like little pustule bursts in his mouth as he smiles at you.
And maybe your daddy's not such a good guy.
Yep.
Just walks off with that great wisdom. Parted on the children.
Yes, I will leave.
Okay.
I'll go back and I'll tell them about the weird pustules in these children. And how I think I saw a worm in that kid's mouth.
Gross. All right.
Joseph immediately starts writing down notes. He's like, is there a weird disease here? Should I come back here for a report? Like, he's like, oh, I see a story.
Taking pictures.
Yeah. He is tempted to go up and ask the kids if he can take a photo of their mouth, but he decides that'd be too weird. He's like,
Hey, smile.
No, that's true.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Hearing that, and he's like, immediately, he's like, you know what? So he goes back over to the kids, and he's like, hey kids, you mind if I, or he shows them the camera, because, you know, I feel like probably a lot of these kids have never seen a camera.
Yeah, as you
He's like, hey kids, have you ever seen one of these before?
as you come back over there, they're like, oh good, the buzzkill's back. but then
he
you
brings out this cool tech.
exactly. You bring out the camera, the older one's like, whoa, I've never seen a camera like that one before. That's really nice.
Yeah, I use this for my job. It's state of the art. It just came out this year. The nicest one on the market. You kids want to take a look? I could try taking a photo for you guys, kind of show you how it works. You guys want to all group up and smile for me?
They are all for it. Yeah, they will group together and smile for a picture. Make a sanity roll for me.
Oh no.
As you see these gruesome, like you heard Seamus, and you're like, oh, some interesting like sickness or something. That's kind of interesting. It's way worse than you anticipated, but you were at least given some, yeah, you were given some forewarning about it, so you're okay. But it's gnarly, and you also see the little like wriggling creature.
Yeah, he tries not to like grimace too hard. It shows on his face for a second, but he like puts on his like professional face, and he's like, oh yeah, I just figured I'd show you kids this since, you know, you were so helpful to my buddy over there. And then he walks back off and he goes back up to Seamus. He's like, you did not warn me well enough about how nasty that was. Something is wrong with the kids here. I wonder if there's some new like bacteria in the water or what's causing this. Might have to swing back around here on my own time. There might be a story. He's like furiously jotting down notes.
Nice. Stan, Peter, any input here?
I'll tell them that I found where the father of the church lives, and that I'll probably be going there because I know a relative of his, and just to grab a Bible. You know, that's about it.
Oh, Peter will, or not Peter. Joseph will also mention the, he's like, one of those kids did tell me that the Jarvie farm takes in visitors from time to time. So if we end up needing to find some food or a place to sleep tonight, might not be too bad to wander up there.
And you will need that
To
soon.
the Hawkins house.
Stan mentioned that. I
Yep,
took a walk
that's right,
around.
Alex.
Didn't see anything super out of the ordinary. Just a town. Nothing noteworthy, really.
And the Hawkins house is the one on the southeast of the town. Looking at it, there's no light on in the house right now. But that's where it is, where you were told, Peter, as an option.
Gotcha.
All right.
Do you tell us about your Sprouston dude?
Yeah, I'm heading there too.
Well, I suppose you can go pay your friend a visit. Maybe he'll know more.
All right.
I think I'm gonna try to. Actually, no, Peter's not that smart. Yeah, come with me. That sounds great.
So you walk to the house, and Stan, this is the house with the old man sitting in the rocking chair. He's been watching out over the town for a little bit. And as you walk up, Peter, this is not just a relative of the man you know. This is Dick Sprouston sitting in this chair.
He became
Wait,
a
really?
creature.
He is sitting in his rocking chair. He seems to be acting a little indifferent as you walk up.
Whoa, Mr. Sprouston, is that you?
He'll get confused. Like, he was pretending to not pay attention, but didn't have a good enough look at you to like recognize you guys at this point. But as he hears the voice, he's like, "Now, by the Lord's grace, Peter Kane, is that you, boy? What a
I'm gonna run up
surprise
to
to have
him.
seen you out here."
I'm gonna run up to him and like very loud, not knowing what I'm saying, be like,
I became a cop. I did it.
Okay. And I think with that, we will stop.
I mean, in the town, it's probably fine for the town people to know you're a cop at least.
It's better than running up and saying, "Hey, I joined the gang."
I really thought he was about to say I joined the gang, so as far as things Peter could have yelled, you know.
I think there's probably still like a triple face palm from the three of us who are
Yeah.
watching.
It's like straight out of Pink Panther, where we all just smack our heads.
All right. But yeah, with that, I think we will end it there as you run up and reunite with your old friend Dick Sprouston and your idol, the man who encouraged you to become a police officer, in this strange little town in the middle of nowhere where kids have weird growths and
Firm lips.
yeah.
What the fuck did you just
I
say?
don't like
Worm
that,
lips.
Peter. I don't like that.
I thought you said firm lips, and I was like, damn it, the kids.
But with that, we will end the first stream of Blackwater Creek Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
So I was recording this for YouTube, so YouTube, thanks for watching. Everybody, thanks for joining in. Hope you're enjoying the scenario so far.
I'm glad you're recording it for YouTube. My coworkers are very curious to see how I like Call of Cthulhu, so
Oh, I will
just drop them a link and
yeah, I will post it soon, and I can let you know when the link is up. But yeah, YouTube, come by, and if you're watching this, around March or April of 2025, come and follow for the next part, because we'll probably be keeping up continuing sometime in the near future, hopefully. But yeah, have a good one, and see you later, YouTube. Have a good night.